Hello, Internet! I'm HamsterBomb.
And I'm Timothy.
And you guys are back with some more Pokemon collection videos, or just collection videos, or, I'm sorry.
Show and tell.
Show and tell. So we're back with some more Pokemon Tomy figures, and it looks like we're playing favorites. But we're actually just going in Dex number order.
I am not playing favorites here. This is just, they just made a million Pikachus. I mean, they still make a million different Pikachus.
The obligatory Pikachu. And you know what's the worst part about it? She doesn't even have the original one.
I thought I did. Learned it was a fake.
I did. I had it. I'm pretty sure the original one actually has airbrushed cheeks and not, like red circles like these, but whatever. We're gonna get more into these, later.
Because I don't have the actual original Pikachu, I'm gonna start with my favorite one.
We're also going in Dex number order from last time. So, starting from Pikachu and going all the way to, I think Wigglytuff is our last one Dex-wise we have here. Then, that's basically where, you know, our range is. If we skip over any Tomy, then we actually just don't have that one. So like we said, we actually just don't even have an original Pikachu, which is a super common, cheap one, but...
I wish I had it. He's the little fat one, like, if you look at the jungle card, like, that's what he looks like.
That's what Pikachu's anatomy needs to be,
that
original
fat,
one.
Like, I have a fake one, and that is the correct model, but it's not an actual Tomy.
These are still neat ones, though. I actually, like, my neighbors had these. I didn't care for them. I didn't like Pikachu. Even back then, I never liked Pikachu.
Me neither.
Yeah, they were all into those.
But I loved this Pikachu.
The surfer Pikachu?
Yeah, because you could play with him, and he can surf on anything, you know? He's always surfing.
You know, when you say that, it actually is a pretty good mold, like, for a toy. Because most of the Tomys are very generic. They're standing very stiff, and they can't really do too much. But it was more the fact that you had a toy of a very specific Pokemon. But yeah, now that you mentioned it, that one's a pretty good idea just as a toy.
I loved playing with him as a kid, you know, I have...
What's this thing with Pikachu needing to surf and fly all the time?
I think the surf was just specifically from that episode that they made.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, there was a very specific episode where there's this old surfer guy and his super old Pikachu, and she can sense when the tidal waves are coming, and... They go out to... You guys might know what I'm talking about. From the very first series of Pokemon, so...
Really?
That's why I thought...
I watched the whole Kanto set.
It was part of the Kanto ones.
I even watched the band episodes, which are some of the best ones. For unless you have... you're prone to seizures, then seriously don't watch the Porygon episode. Because...
But yeah, and, you know, he's flat enough on the bottom of his surfboard, too.
It's pretty cool. And again, he's actually got a good stand there, too.
Yeah. So
I like how the tail actually wraps around the back, too.
He's one of my favorites. He's just a well-made Tomy. Like, I actually enjoy him.
His surfboard's pink. He's got taste.
Then we have the inquisitive, what are you doing, prairie dog Pikachu. I don't know. What else do you call that? I bet the internet has names for these things.
That's all.
It's cute.
They just made it because it's
He's hard to stand. These are all those Japanese Takara Tomy ones so far. I forgot to point that out.
Right.
The Pikachus that I have shown are the Japanese Takara Tomys. And then we have the it's
Takara?
Takara. Am I saying it wrong?
I thought it was Taraka. I mean, I have dyslexia, and so does
It's Takara.
Oh, it is. I always said Taraka Tomy.
Takara Tomy. I call this Pikachu the Peak Pikachu, because that's what he does in Hey You Pikachu when he gives you that. He goes, Peak Pikachu.
Oh, okay.
That's what I call it.
So it's a Hey You Pikachu thing. He scuffed his knee. Were you not watching him when he was at Grandma's house?
I don't know
accidental weird story.
That's
what happened to me when I was little. My parents went on vacation. They left me at Grandma's house, and I was running around totally unsupervised.
How you got the staph infection,
I scabbed on my knee. She didn't even clean it, and it got infected, and it gave me a staph infection. And yeah, I needed to have a cast on my arm and a PICC line going into my heart.
Moving on to a much more pleasant. Just appreciate that you still have Hamster here.
I'm still alive, even though my grandma's really, really ignorant. Whatever. Farting Pikachu. You have
farting or constipated Pikachu is what we refer to him
I have no idea what they were going with on that one.
I feel like it's like a Thundershock thing. I don't know. But there's no lightning that comes with him or anything, so...
That's not a pose I would attribute to the electricity. I have no clue what they were thinking for that one.
Once again,
you can kind of see the backs, but the tails are obscuring the specific writing on the back.
Right, but they're the same as the other ones.
Why'd you have a duplicate of that one? That's like
I don't know. I made fun of that one so often.
That's the weirdest Tomy I've ever seen.
Like, I would never play with that Pikachu when I was a kid.
How could you?
It was this one.
Actually, no. I would, because it could look like whatever other Pokemon you're playing with is beating up that Pikachu. But anyway, let's just move on.
He's hard to stand. He rolls on his butt. Okay.
Yeah, he does.
So we have two different makes. Makes, that's a good word, right?
Yeah.
Two different makes of
the
Raichu.
Identical mold Pokemon.
Different
both
paints.
Tomys. Both real.
These are both real.
So people would think, like we were talking a little bit last time about Arbok, and I said, let's hold off because we have examples of this, and when we get an Arbok, we'll also include that conversation. So this is where we're looking at two different, like we just said, two different Tomys. They look very different if you start moving them around. Like, especially look at the bellies of these guys.
Oh, I
also
think
the tails too. I'm glad your tails are both attached on both. I thought that one of them you lost it and it was like had to glue it back on.
No,
again.
that was the Burger King thing.
Oh yeah.
I always thought it was weird. He has like
it's a long rubbery tail. Raichu was probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite Tomy, just because of how movable. I need a better word for that.
Malleable?
No, malleable implies that it's actually changing to how you're. It's very easy to move and play with. Like his tail's so long.
This one is
Little Alex thought it was cool.
Japanese Takara Tomy. Raichu blows your mind. Okay, so here's all of his printing on his tushy.
Should we change it? I mean, Taraka sounds a lot cooler. Never mind, just go on. Go.
It is Takara, right?
I don't know.
Takara.
I thought it was Taraka. Whatever.
So he has the Tomy writing for the Japanese, and this actually, I didn't notice this before. It looks like this is one of the first print ones. Again, it has a CG on it. I didn't notice that actually.
Oh yeah, cool. And he's got a little more I can see on one of his feet.
And that's his made in China there on his footsies.
And that has serifs on it.
Yes, actually that is.
Which is weird. You gotta back up some more.
Right, okay. So that one does have these serifs on it, but with these first print ones, the made in China was printed differently on them. I don't know why. So like each one has a little bit of a variation to it. So I guess I just didn't notice that before because his tail was covering up, and I was like, oh, yep, there's Japanese. Okay. But he is one of those first ones. This one is an English Hasbro.
So he's gonna say Nintendo in English. And that he has writing on the other foot.
And it looks like his tail was glued back on at one point. So,
oh yeah, that I thought one of them was.
See, this one's starting to look kind of weird to me, and I feel like I was questioning this one and just confirmed that it was real. But
it's an identical mold, and normally, like when you see one that's a fake, it's clear. It's pretty obvious that. The companies who are making these fake Tomys, they don't have the money to
one of the
make
big
them look
indicators,
really nice.
Though, as well, on
airbrushing.
The stamp is, right, there is a lot of airbrushing on this one.
Airbrushing.
Indicators on stamps as well is how crisp and clear the stamp is. Because if it is a new cast from an old mold, the mold stamp is not going to be as clear.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So that's one of the big things collectors usually look for with the stamps on the Pokemon. So those are the two Raichus. We have an English and a Japanese one there. I find it kind of weird. I think that the English one looks better.
Now the next one you gotta grab here, Dex-wise. Nope. Yes. You are missing Sandshrew.
I know, and I love Sandshrew.
Sandshrew and Sandslash were sold together, I'm pretty sure, in one of those double packs you could get, which made sense to me, because they sold so many of those clear double pack things, and if it was a set of 3, then they would leave someone out, like sometimes the middle or the first stage, so usually the middle. So you get like Geodude and Golem and
that happened a lot. Graveler's pretty rare.
Oh yeah, Graveler's rare, but it's because of that. They made so many of the others. But in this one, he was just a line of 2, so most people ended up getting a Sandshrew and a Sandslash, like I did.
He's one of those funky ones where the Tomy, find the Tomy!
I really liked him because his little claws are out, so you could play with him and he'd like
it looks like whoever had him. Stabby stab. I don't think that was me. I never fought with the Pokemon.
Maybe you ended up getting mine somehow. Because I'm sure mine all went to a Goodwill.
Again, because you look at the stamp and how it's not as crisp as anything else, but this is his correct stamp for Sandslash.
She's confirmed this from so many images online of collectors who like verify these things.
You know, I bet there's probably a video that would help me a lot more, but I just
like these?
read through things. Yeah.
Like these.
I just read through the things and try and find images and comparisons. But the thing is, there's so many different variations that that person could have a different one than what you have. And you can't just look up, I want this Hasbro Sandshrew from this year,
right?
And this, and you're not gonna like get it.
You would need an insane collection to know all of those,
right?
So anyway, you were right to move on to the Nidoran line.
This is, I want to say, one of the rarer ones. He is not like she is not like crazy expensive or anything like that, but she does have a little bit more value than most of my other Tomys.
It's pretty hard to find. I never saw one when like I was playing with these things with my
cool.
neighbors.
It looks
it's
so
really
weird.
cool.
Like,
it's also
so
the middle
cool.
stage too. Middle stages for Tomys, like I was just saying, they generally are harder to find. But I don't even know about Nidoran female or Nidoqueen. I've never seen either. Now Nidoking was everywhere.
Right, Nidoking was everywhere.
That's easy. He's a pencil topper too, but
this is I'd like to talk a little bit about the Nidorina here. Its stamp. I just enjoy where its stamp is at. It's on the back of its legs.
Yeah, it's pretty anal.
And then the Tomy is literally its butthole. Like that is its butthole.
Yeah, well the O is. Now the other writing is written on the back. Whoa. Legs. Because for a while she was actually concerned that this was another fake, and I had to keep like telling her, no, keep looking. Because you thought this was a fake. What was making you think it was?
I think it was the. I have to think about it. Made in. Where's the China even at? Oh, there it is.
It's
Made in China.
It's on the leg on the other side.
I think it was just the actual way that it was printed on there. It made me. I kept thinking of when I was reading about the stamps, like the clarity of the stamp does matter, kind of thing, and it was getting in my head. Right. Because even Tomy didn't have the best stamping machine. You know, so not all of them look like.
It was like
fantastic.
Official toys back then. Look like really good fakes from today, unfortunately.
Right.
So
I mean, if you look back at our older videos, like those play-by-play plushies, those are
right.
authentic.
They look like fake toys, but they're real. So the next one, like I said, was really common.
Right. This one is everywhere.
He was one of my favorites, though.
I still see him everywhere.
I just said like 3 of them in this video were some of my favorites, but we just had like 3 of my favorites in this video.
Right. And he's in the Japanese one. We got, weirdly enough, we have China up here and not Tomy. Tomy's on the bottom of tail.
It's funny that they did that.
And here's the bottom where they removed some of the plastic or that's
what I
just
thought
his
was
mold
so
setup.
weird and cool about Nidoking was that he was asymmetrical. Normally, they did stuff, like we showed with Sandslash, and they'll stand in a very typical pose that just makes them look so simple. I mean, yeah, Raichu's tail has to go one way, but it's not that
right,
different.
that mold
Nidoking's
like...
tail also goes one direction, but he's also doing something very different with one arm,
Right.
Like, that's just bizarre, for a Tomy. That little change, but I don't know. I thought it was cool. I played with him a lot because of that. Also, I brought him to school. I put them on my pencils. Nidoking was one that I brought a lot.
I don't think I played with Nidoking very much because everybody had Nidoking.
She was too good for us. That's what it was. You got Clefairy next.
Okay, Clefairy. Hey, look, I have a complete line. I'll bring up the Clefable too.
Cleflubble.
Clefairy's another one of those fat ones, so they had to take out some of the plastic in it as well.
I don't think I never had a Clefairy.
The weird part of his molding is that, like, the Squirtles and the Wartortles have a separate tail, but Clefairy's is actually just
oddly molded into
his body.
Yeah, that's weird.
The
wings too.
Happen to think of this too, looking at these Tomys. Another big indicator of a real Tomy versus a fake Tomy is the clarity of the mold seam lines. So original Tomys are always going to have multiple pieces together. So if it looks like it's all one piece, more than likely it might be a fake. It might be.
That's because they go around later generally, and they've got to like clean those off, and it's got to be shaved.
Right.
And if it wasn't shaved off, it's probably fake. But we have some really old Tomys where they just look bad. They weren't even shaved off, but they're real.
Right.
So,
and you know, Clefable, I always liked the
Clefable?
The Clefable.
The Clefable?
I like the Clefable because they stand pretty well. Both of these are Japanese ones again.
I like the dark pink on the back of the wings of the Clefable.
Right. Like
that makes it look a lot better than the Clefable.
Well, it's kind of the same thing they were doing with the other stages. You know, the first stage was very solid color, and then they went and they airbrushed the second stage. And because of Clefubbles, I have a second Clefable.
Because of Clefubbles?
Because of Clefubbles.
Now, this one has a better seam line on it, it looks like. I'm not sure.
Right. It looks a little bit better of a seam line, but he's
got nicks on him.
He's a little bit more damaged than the first one that I showed. And one of those things, a lot of these Tomys actually have pretty big nicks on them. So one of the best things to clean your Tomys with are the Mr. Clean Magic Erasers. Just don't scrub.
not sponsored.
Just don't scrub too hard with them because
Mr.
you
Clean.
can start taking off some of their paint, original paint.
Don't do that.
But
don't trust Mr. Clean.
They are gentle enough,
sponsored.
And they are really great at taking off marker, pen marks, crayon marks. It'll clean them up really well.
Yeah, she had that magic eraser sponge thing nasty within like 5 minutes of scrubbing some of the worst ones.
Plus, I don't even know if I've hand cleaned these for a long time. But
no.
Anyway, moving on.
Probably the coolest looking Tomy in here, if you're ignoring rarity.
Well, wait. I have one more thing about this.
All right.
You were saying that he is also asymmetrical again.
Yeah, I never had that one though, so I never really looked at it that way. But yeah, you're right.
I didn't think about it like that. But
That's
we're
true.
talking about asymmetry there.
So something that's very rare to see in a Tomy figure is clear plastic, and you've already probably been looking at it because that is I'm pretty sure he's a hard one to find too. I've never seen a Zubat.
I think this particular make of it is not as rare as other makes of it. I think this is the most common make of a Zubat.
Okay, well, the other ones must be extraordinarily rare because I've never seen a Tomy Zubat.
How cool is that? Look at it. It's clear. It looks like it's flying.
Well, you gotta rotate them too, because they see, because that's actually, see.
And it's hollow too. It's not...
Right. It's
like a solid...
From that angle, it kind of looked like it was a solid
how cool is this?
chunk. I know. He's really cool. He's nothing compared to my Kyoto TFG Zubat.
I look at his Kyotos, I'm just a little jealous sometimes.
They got the whole TFG set.
But mine are way more durable than yours, so...
Oh, yeah. Don't tell you. I know. They're over to our right, so I keep looking over there like, I'm looking at you. Don't break now. But this guy, I mean, you said he came with the Monster Ball set, so people were throwing a ball.
Yes, he is a Hasbro grabber ball one, and you see that
people wanted you to throw a toy ball at this, and those things had some force to them. They snapped shut, didn't they?
Right, yeah. Actually, I think I have one around the corner. Maybe we'll bring it up in another video.
Yeah, maybe we'll show you in another one if you're curious. But, oh, man. I remember trying to play with those, right when I got them. I was like, oh, cool, I got a little Pokeball. I threw it at my toy, and it snapped so hard that I was like, I never want that to happen to my toy. So I just never played with it. I put it away after that. Right. I remember I was like, nope.
And as we mentioned in the last video with the other grabber ball, the Rattata one, I think it was. Yeah, the video before this one. That was our Rattata one that, the markings on it are going to be embossed instead of,
I need the other word.
Indented.
I guess that works.
Embezzled? That's not the right word.
Embedded.
That's a good word. And the material is going to feel a little bit different than a Japanese Tomy or an English regular Hasbro Tomy. The grabber ball ones are made from different materials.
Now, Golbat was rarer.
I don't think Golbat was sold with the Zubat and the grabber ball.
I never saw either, so I can't really... I never owned either, so I can't really tell you their rarity, and I don't really remember. You know this better than I do.
I think Gengar was sold with the Zubat.
That actually... No, Meowth was.
I'm Meowth was with the Gengar?
I'm pretty sure Meowth was with Gengar.
Yeah, that sounds more correct. I can't remember who was with
because because I would have had a Zubat. Zubat would have been everywhere. Gengar... Everybody wanted Gengar. And
everybody had Gengar.
I didn't.
I have two different versions of Gengar.
I never had Gengar, and I wanted him so... He was, the coolest Tomy. Since...
He is so cool. I love that Tomy.
He still is. It still probably is the coolest Tomy. But fortunately, he's a common one, so people can get their hands on him. Next one, you also don't have, but we have two of the evolutionary line. I think they were selling this one in a little 2-pack set, but for some reason they skipped the first of the line. We don't have an Oddish, but we do, however.
I'm scared to move the... They don't stand
Mine
best.
stood. I don't know what's wrong with hers. Vileplume was harder to get him to stand up.
I feel like we need to try... Because look at his feet.
Now, you probably had it, and this is a point where you can probably tell them how you had these wrapped, but I'm pretty sure the plastic has bent over time to where the feet are angled like this, and it just has to fall forward.
And what I can do to try and fix that is you take a hairdryer to it and try to bend it back and slowly but surely just keep doing that.
Yeah, you warm it up and try and push it back again. But the Gloom, you can move the Gloom.
I'm scared to touch him.
I had him standing. There we go. So Gloom, you wanna move him around so we can see like prints on these because they're both airbrushed, I think.
The Vileplume not as much. I think he's more on the top.
Yeah, it's on the top.
So the Vileplume, the airbrushing's more on the top there, and I love where
I think that's a male. A female has really big white spots on it, and whatever.
Is that really the difference?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I love where they have his stamp at.
Well, yeah, you'd never see it because he falls over on his face.
Right.
Yeah, most Tomys were pretty good about standing up, really good, but Vileplume.
It's so top heavy, I think is the problem, and then mine has like
then
these
it's
molded feet.
It's the feet. It probably needed one of those stands like the Beedrill had. It probably should have had one, but
that would have made sense for
now
it.
Oddish wasn't too hard to find from what I remember though.
I've not seen one.
I thought I had the whole line. I think
like
because his top leaf is bent over. I remember it's mold.
You might have. I just remember looking at lots now. I never see an Oddish in it.
That's weird. I had a couple rare ones when I had my collection too, so who knows. Not super rare ones, fortunately. Otherwise, I'd be devastated. Like, oh, I had like 4 Dittos and an Electrode. No, I'm okay. But
oh, he was talking about how I had them packaged. So I had these. Before they were getting primed and ready to be shown here, I had them individually wrapped with bubble wrap and tape.
She had to move twice, and that's why she wanted to keep them safe.
But the first time when I moved, and how I used to keep them as a kid, was in a giant freezer Ziploc bag. No protection between them.
She just threw them all in.
That's why the paint could get scuffed.
I came along, and I was like, ah! And then she started wrapping them all in bubble wrap. Little bubble wrap.
And now I love them, and, you know.
You didn't before?
I loved them, but I played with them. I'm like, oh, they're just a small kid's toy. They don't have much value to them, you know.
They do. They do, actually. Not all of them, but a good amount of them do. Now, Gloom, I actually liked Gloom so much more than the Vileplume because of, like, some leaves went different directions. Like, the back one curls up.
He's really intricate.
He's airbrushed all over. He's dark, interesting colors. It's a cool one. It is a cool one. So, now moving from here, we don't have a Paris or a Parasect. I'm pretty sure both are really rare.
Yes, I've heard they're both
Those
are
expensive
rare.
ones. Those are... I don't know where you even find those, honestly. I don't think I've ever seen them. Really. Oh, oops. I totally, skipped over a bunch on accident, like a dingus. So, we were supposed to, after Clefairy Clefable, look at Vulpix.
I thought so.
I scrolled too far. My bad.
This is one of my favorite Tomys. I played with it all the time.
Its color is so weird, but it's airbrushy.
It's one of these ones, you know, and I say this in that plushie
Keep rotating
video
it. Like, the back looks weird.
Like, I say this in my plushie video, too. I love it when things can stand on all 4 legs. You know, it just makes it so much... It makes it so much more sense,
She's into bestiality.
when you're playing it.
She likes Vulpix.
I like the Vulpix. It always bothered me as a kid, though. He looked like he was, like, cut in half, because mine has a really strong seam on it.
They made 2 different parts, and there's probably, like, a connection in the inside, like a shape, and they just pushed them together.
Right. But I always play with this thing, because he's on all 4s, and he can run. But there are different color variations
I'm not serious.
of the Vulpix. There are a lot of different color variations of the Vulpix, so you might want to be aware of them.
Right.
This is... one of the extreme variations, I feel like. I don't know, like, it's like, it literally looks like it's on fire, the coloring that they did on it.
It looks weird, yeah. Like he's glowing with something. What about Ninetales? Because you don't have a Ninetales.
I don't.
Is he rare? Did he come with Vulpix?
I don't think so. I feel like I think the Vulpix You guys can correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe that the Vulpix was sold with the Brock Tomy.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
That was...
We might show those later when we're done, but...
Because when I played with them, I always had my Brock Tomy with my Vulpix. So I felt like those two were actually sold together. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Ninetales was a really big chunk of plastic, kind of like the fairy. It's sitting down, head turned, all the tails. It's like just molded into a big.
Not like how the figures are with Ninetales anymore, where they're like
or
up in the air.
The plushies too, like the big new plushie looks so
cool. I like
cool.
the way he sat before, and he's got all the tails going.
Because I was looking, I was like, I feel like we skipped over Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, and we did. They're our last ones.
Oh, poor little Jiggly.
He's back there. She, maybe, I don't know.
No,
he. Mine's Magic. And he brings in all the shinies.
Okay, so
all
the Jigglypuff is really weird, and I feel like he's a fake every time I look at him, but I know he's not. I've seen multiple people have this exact Jigglypuff.
It was probably one of the first they made, so give them that.
Yeah, can you see that stamp?
Yeah, well, sort of.
It's not like the other ones.
Actually, right there's a good distance. We can kind of read it. Yeah, man, that's tough.
He has a lot of other letters written on him, too.
Yeah.
It's a very weird stamp for Jigglypuff, but this is a real one, so if you have one that looks like this, he is correct.
Okay, he's also a pencil topper.
I can't tell you the exact reasons why the stamp looks like this.
I don't think Jigglypuff was sold with Wigglytuff. I've got some feeling that it wasn't.
Well, see, the thing here is this Wigglytuff is an Asian production of it. So this make is from the Audley?
Audley?
Audley. Audley. You
always told me Audley, so I guess you'd...
I think Audley is correct, yes.
Okay.
So, this
That's so confusing, because it's Oddly. Audley. Right?
Audley.
No, I'm saying it sounds...
Oh, okay. Anyway, these are... So a lot of these Tomy collectors actually consider Audleys to be fake. They are not. They had permission to create these. They had permission to create these. These are legal Tomys. Legal Tomys.
They can go in your collection. In fact, aren't some of them specifically only Audley?
No.
Okay. Because I thought I remember reading that. Because there's some that are only from one particular set, though.
From what I've read.
Like the rare ones.
No, they're not. You can get them.
From everything. That means they made them multiple ways.
Yes.
Okay.
So multiple companies. So the three companies that I pretty much showcase in my Tomy collection are Hasbro's, Audley's, and Takara Tomy's. Those are the three I showcase that I
direct from Tomy, because they all say Tomy.
Correct. Yes, they are all Tomy. So it was
probably better to say
Nintendo.
Direct.
Nintendo gave Tomy the rights to create the molds, and Tomy gave the rights to the other companies to reproduce those molds.
Well, they might not even be companies. They could be, Oddly could be a city. I don't know that.
They're all made in China, so they're all made from...
It could be a factory name just to track it back to exactly which one. Like, I don't know. You guys probably do in the comments. I don't know if anyone's, like, super big in Tomys. I mean, you never researched that, right?
No,
all we know is that some of them say different things on them, and I've got a feeling that it's probably not a company. It's more likely a factory because it was just one group doing this.
So I've learned what I researched is that Audley is
actually Audey. Aldi.
I don't know.
It says Aldi.
It does say Aldi. Aldi.
Why did I listen to you?
I thought I'm dyslexic too, so I got the L and the.
And I read that. Did I really? Yeah, it's L. Is that a double? Okay, yes.
Aldi.
Man.
Okay, we're real struggling with that. Aldi is the company that produced Tomys for the distribution in Asia.
Right.
And Hasbro are the Tomys that were made to distribute in America.
Right.
And the original Takara Tomys are the ones made to distribute in Japan.
Right.
There are other companies who also have the rights to make the Tomy figures.
And they've clearly filtered it all around the world anyway, so...
Right.
It's been over 20 years. Just gotta accept that.
So some people are super picky about it. I'm not. If it's any one of those three makes, I'll take it. I'll accept it. As long as it doesn't look like garbage, you know?
Kind of like the weird paint that they have on Jigglypuff's
Jigglypuff
face.
is just so weird looking. He looks like he's a little bit of a cannibalist or something. I don't know. He's got like blood coming out of his mouth.
But in my randomizer, I called my Wigglytuff Adolf because of how terrifying you looked.
Yeah, I mean, this one even looks pretty terrifying.
Oh no, it's nothing looking like the original sprite for Wigglytuff. That's oof.
That's
it
true.
It was worse. But anyway, that is actually all in this set.
Yep.
So, moving on from here, like big ones that we missed, unfortunately, is the Paris Parasect. I mean, but they kind of...
Right. I mean, there were a lot of them that we were missing here. We had the Paris Parasect,
Oddish,
Sandshrew,
Golbat,
Oddish,
Ninetales.
Nidoqueen, Nidoran male, Nidoran female,
Which is a shame because I really like Nidorino. I would have really wanted one, but
yeah.
He's so rare, and the rest are so rare.
Ninetales.
Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
I think so.
The original Pikachu.
The original Pikachu! If someone wants to give me the original Pikachu, I'll take it.
It's so common. Like, everybody had that one. He was sold,
I
like...
thought I had it, that's
maybe
why
he was
I
sold,
never
like,
got it again.
With Mewtwo or something. Like, everyone had that
So, for the
one.
longest time when I was little, I thought my fakes were the real ones, so I never thought to buy another Pikachu.
Well, she wasn't going this far into it, like, looking them up online, comparing them to collections and stuff like that.
I don't even think I had the internet when I was playing with these things.
Oh, no, I didn't. So, yeah, like, that's just... Wait, they made fakes that fast? Man. Oh, well, anyway.
Yeah.
Or you were just bad at paying attention and collecting these things.
Got them for me, usually.
He was bad at paying attention. Okay, but either way, that's all we have in this set. We're going to keep moving on in the rest of the Pokedex number order. We're going to see which group of about 20 we're going to have in the next chunk coming next week. So, any others that you want to say about the rest of this set we have right now?
No. I think
Nope,
we've
we're
covered
good.
everything.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining us this time. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more, and we will see you all in the next...
Show and tell! I know, it's a collection.